has lost a loved one during the month of March, even though names were not read, are welcome to come up and do oshoko.
Reverend Laverne will now lead us in chanting Junirai found on page 24 of our temple service book. This katha was written by Nagarjuna, the first of the 7 masters of our Jodo Shinshu tradition, and is an expression of the depth of Nagarjuna's gratitude to Amida Buddha. He clarified the idea of interdependent origination, that beings exist only in interrelationship with others, and therefore without permanent or individual reality. Because of the truth of interdependent existence, we are able to benefit from the activity of the Buddha's compassion in our lives. For those unable to pursue the difficult path of cultivating the monastic practice of mental and moral discipline, Nagarjuna advocates the easy path of calling the name of Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu.
Please rise and join me in the recitation of gratitude for Jodo Shinshu teaching, which can be found on the insert in your service book. Namo Amida Butsu. Entrust yourself to me. I will liberate you just as you are. This is the calling of Amida. My blind passions are embraced in the Buddha's awakening. So the Buddha calls to me, I will liberate you just as you are. Gratefully responding to the Buddha's call, I find that I am already on the path that leads to the Pure Land, and the Nembutsu flows freely from my thankful heart. Living with the Dharma as my guide softens my rigid heart and mind. Gratitude for the gift of life I have received frees me from becoming lost in greed and anger, and allows me to share a warm smile and speak gentle words. Sharing in the joy and sadness of others, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. You may be seated. Certified Minister's Assistant, Mr. Bill Teague, will now present the Dharma School message.
Hi, everyone. Morning. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's go ahead and start the Dharma School message with Nembutsu. Please put your hands together. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namadab, Namadab, Namadab. So today I just wanted to do a checkup for some of the younger students. So when you enter the Hondo, what step do you enter with? 50-50 chance of getting it right. Yes? Yes! Excellent. Thank you so much. And it's the mirror, it's the opposite when you exit. Which foot then do you use to, if you're facing the Buddha at the door to the temple, when you back up, what foot do you use to back up? Yeah, right. So there's symbols behind that, and if you just walk in, the Buddha's okay with that. But it's nice to have know what the etiquette is. And so the idea behind the etiquette too is that, for better or for worse, human cultures often go ahead and think that the right side, because more people are right-handed than left-handed, is the good side, or the beneficial side. Those of you who are left-handed know that's not true, but it's the tradition. So here's the meaning behind that. When you walk into the Hondo, left foot first, it's your everyday self. It's not meaning that it's the bad side of you, it's just your everyday self. And then you get to hear the teachings of the Buddha, so when you exit, you're even better off. So it's the right side that you exit with, because you've heard the teachings of the Buddha. Now the same thing is true. Maybe you wonder why we put our hands together like this. Looks like we're praying maybe. But the Buddhist meaning is that one hand is you, and again it's the left side, and the Buddha is the right side. So one with Buddha. So if you ever feel really upset or angry, and it's a place where you won't feel self-conscious, you can calm down by becoming one with Buddha. Just put the hands together. So sounds like most of you learned that lesson really well, so I really appreciate it. Today I just wanted to say a few things about the bell we heard at the beginning of the service. We have two names for it. What's a name you hear a lot? I hear it from some of you, and that's Kancho. And the Kancho, the word, this is, you don't have to worry about this for Dharma School students, but most of the adults already know too, but Kancho has two uses. One is for the bell itself, and so they actually call the hanging bell and back, and if you were here for New Year's Eve and got a chance to ring it, you know what it's shaped like. It's kind of like a cylinder rounded at the top, and you hit it from the outside with a hammer. That bell is a Kancho. If it was a lot bigger, maybe they'd call it Bonsho or some other name to indicate its size. But the Kancho also is the way in which you ring the bell, the rhythm that you ring the bell. So, so here's the other part of the question. What do we call that bell in English? 2 words. So it's called the calling bell because it calls all of us here to the service. And in the old days, in the old country, maybe there was a village and only one temple, so they rang the bell and the villagers came to the temple. But these days, we use the kansho to go ahead and bring our scattered thoughts together. So a lot of times we're in a rush, don't want to be late to temple or something, so we're all flustered. We forgot something. I forgot 2 things on my way to the temple today, as an example. And therefore, we're scattered. But when the bell rings, you can listen to the bell and your scattered thoughts come together, just like the villagers in the old country would come to the temple when they heard the bell. So that's the first part of the message. So we're halfway through, doing good job. Thank you. What we're going to do now, though, is think about the calling bell in a different way, or in a deeper way, maybe. And that is that although the bell rings lots of times, and there's lots of people hearing it, the bell rings just for you. You're the one that is being called. So don't just sit through there and say, okay, yeah, every Sunday we go ahead and listen to the bell, and think about other things. None of you are so rude that you look on your phone, so thank you very much for that. But you may allow your thoughts to wander, but just the opposite. Your thoughts should be coming together. And remember, when the bell rings, it's just for you. Now, adults are used to Dharma messages in which Shinran Shonin is quoted as saying, and this is doctrinal stuff, and it may not speak to you, but it helps some adults, that Amida's vow, Shinran said, was for him and him alone. Isn't that funny? Kind of selfish? Oh, it's only for me. But that's how intense it was for him. He understood. He didn't go ahead and say, well, that's the general, that's general, that applies to everybody. No, he said, it's for me and me alone. So when you come to temple and you hear the kansho, especially younger folks, that's the Buddha saying, hi. Hi, Benjamin. Hi, Penelope. It's for you, so that you feel welcome and comfortable, and it's for you and you alone. Now, they ring the bell a number of times. Some of you may have seen backstage they have a little cheat sheet for minister's assistants like me about how many times you're supposed to ring it. And next time you can listen and see if we do it right or not, okay? But it's 7 times at first, and then you climb a mountain and come down the mountain. So that's where you go. And then you ring it 5 times. And then you climb the mountain again, and then you ring it 3 times. So there's enough rings in that, so at least 1 ring. Every time you hear the kansho, it's just for you. The fact that you're here in this temple, listening to the Dharma, that's just for you. Because your life is important. Only you know who you are. Only you experience life behind your 2 eyes, kid or adult. The good thing about Buddhism is that we're all the same. It's a horizontal. Now, I know your parents probably say, well, you have to respect your elders, etc., and be very polite, etc. But from a Buddhist point of view, that's nice. We should all be polite. But the Buddha's message, the good things about Buddhism, the way in which it helps us be calm and remember what is really important, it applies to everybody. Okay? So maybe sometime you come to a temple and you feel like you don't really want to be here, and, why am I here? Or this is for other people, you're just in a bad mood. And everybody gets to be in a bad mood from time to time. That's not an issue, but just remember, this is just for you. Even in your bad mood, just for you. So I think we'll go ahead and close here so we can continue with the service. But keep in mind how wonderful it is to be here together and how special the Buddha's message is. If you open your hearts and minds, the Buddha's message is just for you. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Teague, for your Dharma School message. Please rise for the Gatha in Lumbini's Garden in page 119 of the service book.
Thank you, Mr. Yamamoto. Please remain standing as we recite the Jodo Shinshu Creed, which can be found on the insert. Jodo Shinshu Creed. I put my trust in the vow of Amida Buddha, reciting Namo Amida Butsu. Let us live to the utmost of strength and joy. I look to the light of Amida Buddha, constantly reflecting upon myself. Let us strive to live each attitude. I shall follow the teaching of Amida Buddha, awakening to the right path. Let us share the true Dharma with others. I rejoice in the compassion of Amida Buddha, mutually respecting and aiding each other. Let us endeavor to work for the good of all. Namo Taptsu, Namo Taptsu, Namo Taptsu. You may be seated. First, we'd like to welcome visitors to our temple and today's service. If this is your first visit, please stand. Feel free to ask of our Sangha or staff after the service. Oh, you have a visitor there. Oh, welcome. Do we have any announcements?
Hi, I'm just putting my hat on as membership chair, but wanted to thank all of the new members who joined us for the new member breakfast and all of the temple members, mostly board members or members of the membership committee who came here early to prepare the breakfast. It was really a wonderful event, and we're so grateful that now the health condition allows us to meet again in person like that. So we hope to have another new member breakfast next year. And if some of you are not members but thinking about it, maybe we'll see you next year too. Thank you.
Hello. So, our Southern District Junior YBL is bringing back the Obon t-shirt fundraiser. It kind of looks like this. Yeah. So it's front and back, and this year's design is a white t-shirt, much like this one, with an orange, green, and black ink, and there's a koi on lily pad design. So, the t-shirts will go on sale from March 1st to April 1st, 2023. And please send your order forms to sdjuniorrblcabinet@gmail.com. You can just find me afterwards for the email. But t-shirts will be given out at Seminar 3. And please make checks out to SD Junior YBA. So why did we sell these shirts? The fundraiser helps offset costs for Southern District Cabinet Conference registration fees, ministers' accommodations, and snacks at conference, and promotes Obon hopping because the dates of Southern District are on the back of the shirt, like this one. All right, so the t-shirts are $20. You can pre-order now, and please see any Junior YBA member to receive your shirt in April. Thank you for your support.
During this month, the pre-K through third grade class is hosting its annual Little Kids Can Do Big Things donation drive for the Ronald McDonald House.
We are expecting new board games, coloring books, crayons, and word searches in crossword puzzles. We have a box in front of the office for you to drop off your donations. If you have any questions, please see Mr. Greg.
Hi, good morning. I have something to set up here. During the month of March, the temple will be having the Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive, and it's in conjunction with the San Diego Food Bank. And so the temple is hoping that all of you will bring some foods to donate toward this drive. You can bring dry items like spaghetti, canned goods, fruits, and vegetables, and so forth. And the drive is going to be, you can bring your items to the temple up until the 25th of March, and all proceeds will be donated to the food bank, San Diego Food Bank, and then will be distributed to families in need. If you'd like to donate money toward it, you may do so as well. The one thing you won't be able to donate are glass items, food items, or refrigerated items. Okay, so that's going on through the 25th of this month. Also is the temple's virtual community fundraiser with Panda Express next Friday. So Dharma School students, be sure to have your parents take you to Panda Express that day. Okay, it's an online event, so you'll have to order through your computer or your device. There'll be an e-blast going out to all the Sangha with the code that you need to put in that will apply toward the BTSD, and 28% of your of the proceeds will be donated toward the temple, which will benefit the Minister's Assistance Program. Also, next Saturday or next weekend is a Cherry Blossom Festival at Balboa Park, and the temple is participating and with the Taiko group and Odori. Odori is going to dance on Saturday at 2 o'clock, is that right? 2 o'clock, and then Taiko at 3, and that's at the Friendship Garden next Saturday. And then the MAs will have a booth, informational booth, outreaching to the public about the temple, and that is going to be both Saturday and Sunday, is that right, Reverend Laverne?
Friday, Saturday.
Oh, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, okay. So if you're out there, you know, you could join Reverend Laverne and the MAs out there for that. Also, downstairs, there are flowers in the hallway. There was a funeral here at the temple yesterday, and there are flowers that were from that service. So if you'd like to take some, please do so, okay, after the service is over. It's inside the hallway next to the kitchen. Okay, thank you.
Dharma School students may now oshoko and be excused to your classes. The rest of today's service will be chaired by Mrs. Kaytee Sumida.
And a happy belated Girls' Day to everybody. Which, as Noriko points out, it's just a regular day in Japan now. Boys' Day is a holiday, though. Yeah. Well, it's Boys' Day, though. Yeah. Yeah, so it's officially Children's Day now. We will start the adult part of the service with the Vandana and Tisarana, led by Reverend Laverne. Yes, Laverne is still there in the corner. So, on page 96 of your service book. So, 96? Yes, page 96.
Please join me from the very beginning.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Namo Idabas, Namo Idabas, Namo Idabas, Namo Idabas. And now Reverend Laverne will give the adult Dharma message.
Thank you. I feel less lopsided. Bill, our MA Bill was talking about how the right side is the Pure Land, right? And everybody was sitting over here, including the Dharma School teachers and students, and I guess the same people were sitting on this side. So as I was looking out, I was kind of leaning towards my left, which is your right. So maybe there is something to this right side, left side thing. I don't know. But anyway, I also wanted to mention the Dharma School children and the parents because it is, I don't know how you feel, it's always very uplifting to me. And it reminds me, even though it seems like, half our Sangha sort of exited with Dharma School, that's okay because that's our future. That is the future of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego. And so it is very heartwarming to see that the children show up regularly every week and their parents bring them. So I just want to express my gratitude, even though they are not sitting with us today. I know some of you parents are here in the Sangha, so thank you. The theme for my talk today is impermanence and interdependence. And I want to talk about a very special group here at the Buddhist Temple of San Diego that I think gets some recognition, but sometimes I feel like maybe not the recognition they deserve. Last month, we had a very special service called Kisaragi, which honored Lady Takeko Kujo, who was the daughter of one of our Gomonshus, and was the founder of the Buddhist Women's Association. She was a philanthropist, she was an activist, she founded a hospital in Tokyo, and she passed away from, I don't know if it was the flu, but there was an outbreak, an epidemic in Japan, and she was ministering to the people that were ill, and she, as I understand it, got sick and passed away very young. She was a poet, and as a student of the Dharma, she wrote beautiful poetry expressing her gratitude towards the gift of the Dharma. I want to talk about the BWA. This is a group that is experiencing changes. As we have lost many of our longtime members, we are not getting the kind of participation that we hope would grow the membership of this group, at least not so much here in the temple. They are, most of the time, behind the scenes. In the past, they were tremendous supporters. They cooked the meals, they did a lot of fundraisers to support this temple, to build this temple and support the temple. They still continue to do that. But times are changing, right? That's the impermanence. Times are changing. I remember Mrs. Tomiyama once said to me at a BWA meeting, and I truly miss her. She would come to the meeting with many of our members who are no longer with us today. But she said to me, she said, you know, back when I was young, I was told by one of the members, come to the meeting. She said, I didn't have a choice. I had to do what I was told, and so I attended the meeting. And then, I guess, gradually became a member, and a very supportive member of the Buddhist Women's Association here in San Diego. I'm assuming, Anne and Susan, are you guys, I don't see you. They're probably downstairs getting ready for the meeting, but I see her daughter-in-law, Aki Tomiyama. They are very active. I don't know if Mrs. Tomiyama said to the three of them, well, just come to the meeting. They came, and they are still coming. And they are very reliable supporters of the Buddhist Women's Association. But as a matter of fact, this next generation of women have very different lives. First of all, most of them, although I know that I believe Susan and Aki and Anne all probably worked. They were working moms. The young women of this next generation have enjoyed the benefits, I think, of the women's movement. And so they are in jobs that are very demanding. They are maybe leading organizations. And juggling between those very demanding jobs and families, they don't have a lot of other time. So they do what they can with the time they have, and that is they bring their children to Dharma School. They maybe are participating in or teaching the Taiko group, but they are very, very active and very involved. So I don't blame them, I don't fault them for not having the time to also make the Women's Association a priority. But I do want to encourage people to think about the legacy of the BWA. We read the names of our past members. Many of those were BWA members. They still are the foundation upon which this temple was built. For me, that is the importance of the interdependence, because even though they're not here, we are still dependent upon the hard work and the commitment that they put in during their lifetimes. We're benefiting from that dedication and the time and commitment today. We're here because of that commitment and dedication. So services like today's, which was Shotsuki, and we read a lot of names, might seem tedious to those of you that are sitting there and maybe don't know or are not familiar with the names that I read. But I hope that you'll go back to the newsletter for the month and just read those names. Because again, our lives today, our ability to be able to come to this temple was because of their work, because of their legacy. So back to the BWA again. You know, I was a product of the 60s and 70s when the women's movement was pretty vocal. It's not as vocal today, but I think that we benefited from the activism of the women of those times. I didn't go out and burn my bra because I had a budget and it cost a lot of money at that time even. But I know that I benefited from that movement. I have a lot more opportunities today than my mother did in her time. When I first encountered Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, I had no idea what the BWA was. I joined the temple up in Seattle. And they have a very, very active, a very, very strong BWA. I remember the first time I volunteered to do obon. I volunteered at one of the BWA, there was the yakisoba, a booth. And it was, the BWA was in charge of it. Well, I had really not ever volunteered for anything. And so I thought, okay, you know, if I give myself a half an hour, I should be able to park my car and get to the booth on time. Well, the Bonodori in Seattle is huge. I mean, they closed the street. It's part of their annual Seafair Festival. I circled around and around looking for parking, and I was 15 minutes late getting to the booth. The president of the Seattle BWA was at the booth, and I was duly reprimanded for being 15 minutes late and was told, you know, if you're going to volunteer for something, you better be on time. So I thought, oh, I'm never going to join the BWA because I don't want to be scolded. I don't want to be reprimanded. My mother did that for me. Thank you very much. I know, I'm just going to be really upfront, that the BWA sometimes does have a reputation for being, how do I say, you have to do things the right way or you get criticized. And that used to scare the heck out of me. But what I have learned since is that that is the way of that generation of teaching. I was just too blind, I was just too self-centered to understand that that lady, that president, was teaching me a lesson, and that is anticipate, be prepared. I am not a good sushi roller, and so I never used to volunteer to roll sushi because I knew somebody was going to look over my shoulder and say, ah, you did that wrong. And, but our BWA here offers lessons. And so I have taken advantage of it. I still don't roll a good sushi, but I keep trying. And so, again, it is that lesson of interdependence, right? They are behind the scenes, and they are struggling. And I want to be very upfront and open that I'm not so sure that, that this group may not survive the next 5 years because we don't have enough involvement. We don't have enough people stepping up to be in leadership roles, to just be members. So I hope that those of you that are here today will take that to heart and think about maybe how can you support, even in your limited spare time, how can you support this very vital group that we, the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, are so very fortunate to have. Things are changing. The BWA is changing. I am very, very proud to say that the BWA funds one of the academic chairs at the Institute of Buddhist Studies. They have raised enough money to fund a chair, especially not fully focused, but emphasizing women in Buddhism. And Dr. Paula Arai is the first academic professor to be appointed in this position. So the women's group is also changing with the times. They are putting their money in places that will benefit women in Buddhism. So again, I'm going to ask the members of our current BWA, there are a few of you in the audience, to please rise so that we can recognize you. Aki and Naomi and Ruth and Mitz, hi. And Margot, so thank you very much. Again, they're behind the scenes, but I'll tell you, they work very, very hard. So please join me in Gassho as we recognize not just the Women's Association, but the children and all members of our Sangha. And I want to also welcome our new members. Did we do that, or we haven't done that yet? Did we do that? Okay. Okay, so please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
And now, can everybody please rise for Ondoksan 2, which is on page 128, with musical accompaniment today, so no a cappella. You may be seated. We'll now have a final meditation. Just practice good, do good for others without thinking of yourself, that you may gain reward. Really bring benefit to others, gaining nothing for yourself. This is the primary requisite for breaking free of attachment to self. Dogen Zenji, obviously written for the BWA. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. You may come up and offer Oshoko, and then please go down and help eat up the rest of the gorgeous breakfast that was prepared this morning. And that concludes today's service. Oh, there is a Japanese message also. Is Yukari up here yet? Yes. Okay, Yukari will be doing the Japanese message.
それでは日本語の法話を始めます。それでは、Please join me 合唱演念仏。如来大悲の音読は身を粉にしても法ずべし、刺繍知識の音読も骨を砕きても射すべし。生阿弥陀仏、生阿弥陀仏、生阿弥陀仏、ナマンダ、ナマンダ、ナマンダ。皆さんおはようございます。おはようございます。お元気ですか？元気。私は今日からじゃないけど新しいローブを着ています。どうですか？似合いますか？ありがとうございます。ちょっと大きいんですけど、今日は音読さんのお話をしようと思います。私は音読さんの曲大好きです。とても綺麗な曲だと思います。皆さんは音読さんは好きですか？音読さんには1と2、古いのと新しいのがありまして、ここのお寺では新しい方、2の方を、先ほどのように歌いますよね。皆さんは古い方を聞いたことがありますか？あります？わかんない？とてもきれいな曲なので後でみんなで聴いてみましょう。では皆さんはこの音読さんの作者が誰かご存知ですか？のりこさんはご存知です。作者は親鸞上人なんです。親鸞上人が和讃をたくさんお書きになりましたよね。なんか500首ぐらいあるんですか？なんかその中の一つなんです。音読さんは親鸞上人が書かれた和讃の中の正蔵松和讃っていうのがあるんですけど、その最後のが音読さんです。そしてこれは親鸞上人が85歳の時に書かれました。それで和讃の方、皆さん和讃はおなじみですよね。昇進下の後に6首ぐらい唱えしますね。いつも弥陀成仏のってありますよね。あれが和讃です。あれも和讃です。でこの音読さんも和讃です。それでこういうふうに曲をつけて三仏歌として日曜礼拝とかで歌うようになったのはもう近代になってからのことで、1900年に入ってからのことで、ハワイから始まりました。でハワイで始まってそれが日本に伝わりました。でもいろんなところに伝わって、浄土真宗のお寺では歌われています。そしてこの和讃音読さんは、信心をいただいた方の生き方を親鸞上人が歌っておられます。なのでここにべき、なんとかべきってありますよね。射す、法ずべしとか射すべしってあるんですけど、これは命令ではなくて、こういう気持ちが起こりますよっていうことなんですね。それで音読さんの意味なんですけど、音読っていうのは5音のことです。音。 ゴーンってわかりますか？わかる？英語で言うと、owing gratitude for a service or action ということで、日本語で言いますと、他人からもらった素晴らしい行い。例えばですね、赤ちゃんの時から育ててもらったのは親の恩。それから生徒が先生にいろんなことを教えてもらう。で、これが先生の恩、先生のご恩です。それから命の恩人っていう言葉があるのはご存知ですか？聞いたことありますか？命の恩人。これは、死にそうなところを救ってくれた人のことを命の恩人って言うんですね。で、私にはなんと命の恩人がいます。私、7歳ぐらいの時、7歳から8歳ぐらいの時に、車の前にね、車っていうかトラックの前に飛び出しそうになったんですよ。狭い道だったんですけど、車がたくさん通っていて、歩道、サイドウォークがすごく狭かったんですね。それで人がたくさんいて、私はその人を追い越して前に行こうとしたんですね。人がもう前にいるから。それで一度歩道に出て、それで人を追い越して行こうと思ったんです。それで歩道に出そうになった時に、すごい大きなトラックが来たんですね。で、もうちょっとでひかれそうになったんですけど、どっかのおばさんが私を後ろからね、こうやってわっと抱き留めてくれて、私はその車道の方に、車が通っている道の方に飛び出しませんでした。そのおばさんが私がもうちょっとで車道の方に飛びそうになるのを止めてくれました。それでもうすごいおばさんの顔見たらね、すっごいびっくりしてた。もう本当に私はあの時もう惹かれる寸前だったかもしれないんです。それでおばさんの顔、私なんかお礼言わなきゃいけなかったんですけど、7歳ぐらいだったのですごく恥ずかしくなって、もうそのままお礼も言わずにもう逃げていっちゃったんです。で、そういうことがありました。なんでその時一人でそこにいたのか覚えてないんですけど、でも飛び出しそうになったことは覚えていて、このおばさんがこう後ろから抱き留めてくれたのも覚えてます。そのおばさんは多分もう地球にはいないかもしれないですね。私が7歳ぐらいの時おばあさんだったからね。でもそのおばさんが命の恩人です。ちょっと話がそれましたが、でここで言う音読とは阿弥陀様のご恩、阿弥陀様のご恩と、それから四重知識のご恩。これは四重知識っていうのは阿弥陀様のことを教えてくださった先生方のことを言います。それで音読さんの3はたたえる、プレイズのことです。褒めるとかも同じ意味ですね。なので、音読さんは、阿弥陀様の、ご恩、先生方のご恩をたたえる歌です。いいですか？それでは、皆さん、サービスブックの128ページを開いてください。 開きました。そしてじゃあ最初から読んでいくと、如来大悲ってありますよね。如来大悲、これは阿弥陀様のことです。如来大悲は阿弥陀様。そして音読は今言った五音のこと。そして身を粉にしてもっていうのは、身を粉にしてしまうと死んでしまうので、これは例え話です。身を粉にしてもはもう死ぬほどにという例え話。とってもとってもっていう感じですね。で、次が身を粉にしても報ずべし。報ずべしは報いたいとか恩を返したいという意味です。なのでこれは信心をもらった人の気持ち、それで阿弥陀様のご恩はとってもとっても感謝しています。もう死ぬほどに本当に死ねとは言ってないです。それぐらいもう死ぬほど大好きとか死ぬほど大嫌いとか言うけど、そんな感じでもっと重いですけどそういうとても感謝してる、死ぬほどに恩を返したい、こういう気持ちに親鸞聖人もなられたと思います。これが信心をもらった人の気持ちです。そして次が四十知識の音読も、これは阿弥陀様のことを教えてくださった先生方っていうと、親鸞聖人に阿弥陀様を教えてくださった先生方っていうとどなたでしょうと思いますが、お釈迦様ですね。お釈迦様とか、それから日本へ仏教を伝えてくださった、七高僧の先生方、その方たちのご恩は、骨を砕きても、骨を砕いたら死んでしまいますよね。だからそれは例え話で、死ぬほどにとってもとっても謝すべし、感謝したくなる、とってもとっても感謝したくなる。なのでこれは死んで感謝しろとは言ってないんですね。これは親鸞聖人のお気持ち、親鸞聖人が信心をいただいた方はこういう気持ちになるとおっしゃっています。というわけで、この音読さんは親鸞聖人は信心をもらった人の気持ちを述べていらっしゃいます。信心をもらった人は阿弥陀様や先生方のご恩にとってもとっても感謝します。そして親鸞聖人がそういう気持ちを持っていたので、この和賛を、書かれました。それではご一緒にその和賛の古い方の和賛、音楽だけちょっと聞いてみましょう。ちょっと待って。どこに行ったかな。あった、これだ。聞こえる？こっちね。 どうでしたか？なんか私これ聞くとね、心がなんかすごくね、なんかジーンとしてきます。今日は私の話を聞いてくれてどうもありがとうございました。それでは、お念仏合唱礼拝をして終わりにいたします。ナマミダ仏、ナマミダ仏、ナマミダ仏、ナマンダ。ありがとうございました。